You know, after 22 hours, I would expect to know what a Kingdom Hearts is. But I still don't know what a Kingdom Hearts is. The Kingdom Hearts series is a series I never thought I would ever touch or even get in contact with, but surprisingly I found myself here, and the reason I'm playing this game is kinda stupid. So basically what happened was that my friend didn't want to beat Breath of the Wild, which was a really good game. I highly recommend everybody to play Breath of the Wild and finish it. And in spite of that, I decided to play one of his favorite games, Kingdom Hearts, and I sure showed him by beating the game, yep. But those 22 hours were put to good use. I really enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 3, and there was a lot to the game than I thought there was. Same goes for Kakarot. I really thought it was just going to be a button mashing extravaganza at first glance, but Kingdom Hearts 3 really surprised me with the amount of stuff it has. So let's talk about the very first thing that makes an RPG game a make or break for me: the combat. Press A, cool. Press A again, cool. Press A again, cool. Do this 5 times and then you finish the combo. Great. But what if I told you you can roll into certain objects and then you glow blue and then you lock in all the enemies into one location so you can easily combo them? And then what if I told you there's also aerial combos and you can extend the combos by unlocking different abilities? But then what if I told you you can press Y and you can spawn in attractions that are really cool, or they don't even have to be attractions, it could be anything that's there. Throw Goofy into the air and then throw him into the floor. You go with Donald and you fire flares everywhere. Jump on the guy's back and start smacking things around. Get on Baymax, fly around and you can shoot around with RT and press A to punch. And then there's finishers, all of them that look really flashy and do tons of damage. It's so much fun. But it doesn't end there. There's magic. There's a few magics, and it's not really that big of a catalog, but who cares? You can throw them in and just toss up your combos, make them look pretty flashy. You can even do shortcuts so you can have easy access to potions or have access to magic. It's whatever you program it to. But what's this little fancy button down here? Links? I didn't do that many of them because they kind of were annoying to do because it slowed down gameplay a little bit, but they're so cool. You get to spawn in guys like Wreck-It Ralph and fly on his back, and well, most of it revolves on other characters on your back or just side by side. Anyway, when you spawn them in, you get to do cool stuff with them. Wreck-It Ralph, he builds up stuff, and there's Stitch who like makes lightnings who you gotta make triangles out of. There's so much. Now let me resume my composure and stop gushing about the game. Now, as you can clearly see, LeBron James, I'm really invested in Kingdom Hearts 3's combats. I think there's just so much versatility to it, and you can go left, right, up, down, it's whatever you're feeling like. So that gets a thumbs up for me. Let's go to the next thing. There's about 9 worlds in the game. The first 4, cool. Next 4, amazing. Last world, it's very unique. It stands out a lot from the other ones because it's not just one world technically. It's like a world and then whatever that is. The game looks great, so of course the worlds look great. No matter where you go, you're gonna be like, dang, that look good. Sora has to blend in with each world he goes into, and in some worlds he actually changes his form completely, and that's why Goofy looks like But then there's some worlds like the Pirates of the Caribbean that just stand out completely. Of course it feels out of place compared to everything else, but it's so gorgeous. So look at that. Wow. Whoa. Jack Sparrow. Whoa. The worlds are so great that I occasionally get lost in them. It's probably just because I'm an idiot, but you might find yourself at least once backtracking when you're really not supposed to. I went all the way to the start of a world, and that was the most painful feeling ever because I had to go all the way back. And once I went all the way back, I had to make sure I was going the correct way. And there was one time where I went all the way back to where I was supposed to go, and then I somehow managed to go a completely another direction. I don't know how I did that, but it was very confusing. The Frozen World is just excellent at doing that. It just really makes you want to grab your brain and just strangle it. I hate that. Well, it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, the story. Plotline of the game is kinda weird to me. I didn't pay too much attention to it, and the same guy that didn't beat Breath of the Wild filled me in on a bunch of details. Thanks for doing that. But the game seems to be like that Sora has amnesia, he goes to different worlds, at the very end he reunites with everybody, beats the bad guy. That's what happened to me. but there are a lot of key elements that has involvement in the story, so you better be on the lookout for that if you actually want to endeavor in the lore of this game. But does the lore take away from the gameplay? Absolutely not. When you go to each world, you're pretty much just following the storyline of that specific movie. When you go to Monster Inc., Sully and Mike Wazowski is trying to get Boo to her door. When you go to the Frozen world, it's Anna trying to save Elsa or trying to reunite with her. I don't really, it's your preference, yada yada yada. The only time the game really gets super lore heavy is at the very end and somewhat in the beginning. Pretty much the rest of the middle is, like I said, you're just going through the world storylines with added darkness in it. Exploration is a big thing in Kingdom Hearts because there's a big world you might want to go explore. Like I said, the reason why you can get lost in these worlds is because they're so great. But getting lost in the worlds can lead you to some emeralds or emeralds, and you can find a lot of things that may help you, such as the monies or bad guys. Other types of exploration involve the spaceship, and spaceships is how you go from world to world. I think they're personally fun and a nice sidetrack to the game, and if you want to go deeper into it, there's a shipbuilder, and people can make some crazy ships with them, and if you make something really crazy, you might want to take it into battle. There's missions in space that you can go over to that, and now you have to do a quick shoot 'em up, and it's fun. I personally like them, and I really wish I could have easily assembled my ship faster, because I mean the cap is understandable. I just wish the cap wasn't so limited, considering the fact that you can completely skip over the missions. I understand there's balancing, but man, would it be fun just to go straight in and just start making some cool ships. And either way, you can use the starter ship throughout the entire game. Alright, let's wrap this thing up by getting really fancy with how I talk. Kingdom Hearts is a crossover between Final Fantasy and Disney, and Disney means things needs to be magical and animated. So how does Kingdom Hearts compare? Oh, it's right there. There are times when you're mindlessly pressing A and throwing in magic, but the set pieces the game creates are outstanding. The Pirates of the Caribbean is one of my favorite worlds visually and gameplay wise. The second you start out, you're shooting things on a ship, and then you're flying, going after a dragon bird, jumping on its back and slashing at it. But it does not end there, most certainly not. There are too many moments in this game where I want to drop my controller and watch the cool stuff that's happening. This game is great. The combat begs for your attention by having so many routes to pull off combos, and every new ability contributes to the entire system. The game looks great, the game plays great, Disney is great, and for real, what the f is it Kingdom Hearts?